are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, John Paul Black.
Together we are Raw Break. How's every single one of you, family? It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It is time for AEW Dynamite review. Welcome, every single one of you, family. And we're going to be talking about all this show that, like, John Paul thinks, you know, pretty tolerable. So yeah, for me, a little boring. You know, nothing really that I got, like, really excited about. But, you know, hype for, like, what's going to be full gear. You know, more matches added. A lot of good things. But, you know, I don't know if the show is actually growing or staying the same, or going low. You know, it was kind of like a Halloween episode of it also, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, to comment on that, I would say, you know, overall, I think the show is getting a little better. I'm not saying every week is better than the previous week, but I think overall you compare it to what this show was last year this time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot better. They have a lot more stars, you know, big names, you know, legit names. But, you know, this episode of Dynamite, I do agree there's nothing, oh my God, you know, I need to watch this segment again. But I thought they did a lot of good stuff. But, you know, they also did some bad stuff. So let's get
exactly. So thank you for being with us one more time. And don't forget to subscribe to the page on YouTube, all the social media ways that we have, the original Raw Break. You know, give it the video a like also. And, you know, so more people can be exposed to our show. And don't forget, thank you so very much for, like, the support for this video from the Halloween Havoc review yesterday. You know, Toxic Attraction. You got to see Gigi. You got to see Mandy Rose. They're all holding gold right now. And also, like, Tommaso Ciampa against Braun Breaker. A lot of people are upset that, like, Braun Breaker didn't become the champion. A lot of others really happy because they didn't switch that right away. But, like, despite of that, a pretty good show. And, you know, Io Shirai's still alive, which we're happy for.
Yeah, you know, like we said, a lot of stuff, you know, in this, you know, you don't want to call it a pay-per-view, but it still kind of is Halloween Havoc, you know. I mean, we had to pay the price, and, you know, some of the wrestlers paid the price by, you know, performing these. We saw a lot of no DQ, ladder match, all this stuff. I mean, was it really worth it? Did it stick? I mean, the only real thing I wanted to see of this show last night was the main event. And it's funny because in tonight's show, which we're about to get into here, you know, the only thing that I really didn't care for was the main event. So it's a little bit of a flip-flop here.
Yeah, there was a flip-flop, so let's start, Paul. And, you know, CM Punk started off the show. First time in AEW Dynamite Wrestling and against Bobby Fish. Think that a pretty good match. Like you said, like, these two guys can actually wrestle really well. Punk, you know, still getting in the habit of, like, you know, wrestling every single day or, like, every 2 days. So you see a little bit of, like, right there. I don't even want to say ring rust, but, you know, like, he's getting better. And Bobby Fish was the right man to carry this match. Really good showing, but in the end, you know, CM Punk is going to win all the time right now. So I don't know if this is actually benefiting the character CM Punk or actually making him look stale. But, you know, despite of that, a pretty decent match. I want to say, now, where do you go with Punk, though? He needs, like, a real feud for, you know, for the pay-per-view. I feel like he needs somebody that is going to make him, like, able to tell a good story. Because this is just, like, mini feuds, like 1 week feud.
Yeah, and you really got to think. It's like, you know, is he going to go back to Team Taz? I don't think so, but... You know, for this match here, you know, I like this a lot. I mean, it was the good first 20 minutes of the show. You know, they gave these guys with entrances and everything. And, you know, this was good. Bob, you know, I would say was even in the start of this thing. Then eventually when they went to the outside and everything, you know, Bobby Fish, he took over, you know, beating up Punk on the outside, rolling back in, going back out. You know, really, but then, you know, Punk, you know, he came back on the offense. We saw, like, you know, the Macho Man elbow, or like they said, like the one, what do they call, like the one-legged elbow or something? Because he jumps with like one leg or something. I don't know. But anyway, you know,
Macho Man elbow. He does it because of Macho Man. Yeah.
And then, you know, but this was really good. And, you know, I like when he countered the go to sleep the first time, but eventually, you know, he hits it, but it took Punk forever to make the cover. 1, 2, and Bobby Fish kicked out like right at 3. But I was like, oh shit, the match is going. But the ref was like, no, you got it. You see Punk's face. So maybe this is a feud. Maybe we see Bobby Fish say, no, this is bullshit. I kicked out at 3. You know, you're not legit. The GTS, you know, you're washed up. I kicked out, blah, blah, blah. And they have another match or something. Maybe that's going to, not for the pay-per-view, but maybe that's like a little mini feud or something. Because I really don't know what you do with the pay-per-view. All the big names are tied up.
That's what don't you think? Like, it's like you need somebody that is gonna help Punk to keep telling good stories because
Minoru Suzuki.
No, he actually, yeah, you're right. But he went to
back. They'll be like, hey, come on.
He came back. He came back to Japan. Yeah, he's back. He's a tweet. He's like, you know, with like bags, you know, bag luggage and all of that. He's like, oh, thank you, America. So, and on Impact, coming soon. So he probably already did his tapings on Impact. You know, they do Monday and Tuesday, so that's why he's like, okay, I'm done. Thank you so very much. Have a good day. But like you said, CM Punk needs a credible opponent for when it's going to be Full Gear. It's going to be the second pay-per-view he's going to be part of, so he needs that. So maybe it's going to be Malachi Black. No, it's not going to be Malachi Black, but he says, hey, everything that happened with Cody, most people will think that like was good for him. He beat me and all of that, but no, it was part of the plan. Because he said in the Malachi Black's family or the house, like he always wins. So at least a little bit of an explanation, because you need.
Wins. He said the house always wins, and that made me laugh because that's what that fucking clown Duke Hudson says on NXT. You know, yeah. He's like, the house always wins, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, now Malachi Black saying it makes it like less cool because like Duke Hudson said it and ruined it. So. No, I mean,
you see what I mean? Like, you know, these guys, like, they have, I guess, a lot of similarities. They actually watching each other's shows. It's still.
No, I don't know. I mean, but see, Malachi, he always said the House of Black. You know, that was a thing for a while now. But this is good, and it's just the way. I mean, Malachi Black delivers it good, but he should have beat Cody. He should have moved on. With what we're gonna see later, he's like, oh, it's all mind games. It's not about pinfalls and everything. And it's like, no, dude, because you know this feud coming up. I don't know. I really don't have high hopes for it, but we'll get. This was a decent promo, and let's
exactly. Well, we're going to be talking about the rest of the show. Like MJF beat like a jobber, you know. And we shouldn't say jobbers. You know, we respect the wrestlers. We care for what they do. It's just like enhancement talent. There you go. Let's rephrase that. Let's put it in a positive way. But what was the point of this? That was 2 seconds. It was just a big move. That was it. Kind of like an Alabama Slam. You know, he wanted to do that, but like anyway, he gets the win, and he's just calling out like a Darby Allin, you know, oh, like he's gonna be here. No, he's not gonna be here. So like MJF really cool in the promo. And remember, like Sting and music's play, and like, oh no, he's not here yet. No, he's not here. And again, they did the same thing, kind of like what they did with the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. It's like he's not there, but they truly are there, of course. And you got to see this thing, of course, like with this like weird things that like Darby Allin does. And, you know, you get to see this. Sting comes out, and Darby Allin comes out too, and then Darby Allin ends up challenging MJF for a match at Full Gear. And you see, like, the skateboard with, like, the thumbtacks in it, or, like, the, what is it, like, he's also like Barbie. He's, like, you know, like, the rope right there, like, with, like, all of that stuff. So, I mean, we knew that this was going to be, like, a match, so that's fine. I mean, they're going to get us there, that's cool. But I don't want Darby Allin to win. I want MJF to go over.
No, MJF needs to win because the whole point of, you know, the promo he cut in the beginning, you know, before he called out Darby Allin and everything. And I just love when he just ripped apart Boston. He's like, you know, I do 2 things here. I pin shoulders to mats and I bang rats. He's like, but I'm not going to do that last thing because all you women here are fucking fat, ugly slobs. And they're like, boo. He's like, Boston sucks. I mean, such a legit heel. You put him in his 70s, 80s, anytime, he's going to get over as a heel. You know, he's so great. And he said, Hangman Omega, it really doesn't much matter because whoever wins, I'm coming after you. He pretty much said, you know, he's going to be the next person to challenge for that title. And see, this would be a perfect opportunity. You give it to Hangman. And you tell that sad story. He loses it, his first title defense, and it's like, damn, like you feel bad, and it just gives MJF more heat. This is the way I would go, but MJF, he first needs to get through Darby. I don't like the beatdown. He runs away. Sean Spears gets beat up. Wardlow gets beat up. They look like
the same stuff that all the time. Yes.
Yeah, so it's the same shit, but I'm looking forward to this match. I think it's going to be good. MJF has to win.
MJF has to go over. I agree with you. So, like, let's move on to, like, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, because she's having, you know, of course, like, another War of Words with Tay Conti. All of those things are happening because, I don't know if you saw this, Paul, but, like, on Twitter, they have a picture of Tay Conti's, like, action figure and also, like, Britt Baker's, and Tay Conti said that, like, her figure doesn't even have a big of an ass. That, like, Tay Conti
the whole feud last week, you know, Dynamite, you know, check it out, Jean Paul, you know, solo act.
That's right.
Because Juan was, you know, doing a fantastic job Bound for Glory. Also check that out. You know, they pretty much, this is like the feud of the asses. She says all Tay Conti does is show her ass. She's not a legit wrestler. And Tay Conti says, you're just jealous because I have a nice ass. And then she said, look, and your action figure doesn't even have an ass. You know, and mine does. So what did that say? So, you know, I mean, it's funny, haha. But again, this isn't a feud where the title's in any type of danger. You know, it's just a way to be like Tay Conti. You know, you're legit. You know, you're getting better. You know, you have a lot of fans, and you're bringing those viewers to us because of your backside. Thank you. And she's good in the ring. You got to give her that. She is. You know.
Yeah, she's decent. Yeah, exactly. So she's not going to be a bad match. Yes.
No, it's going to be a pretty decent match, but in the end, you know, it's going to be DMD.
Exactly. So let's go on to like Sammy Guevara against Ethan Page for the TNT Championship. Pretty good match, but I gotta like just say the same thing that you said. The title wasn't any danger right here because it's Sammy's brand new champion and Ethan Page. See the difference? I always gotta like remind people this. Like George Alexander on Impact and Ethan Page right here in AEW. The guy's a good wrestler, but he cannot get himself over for his life. They don't have enough faith in the guy, I think. I don't know what's going on, but like in this match, you knew Sammy Guevara was going to win, and that's what ended up happening. I mean, really cool spots between the two. They know how to give us good sequences. There you go, right there. Like you get to see like the moonsault on like a 450, like right there, going right to Ethan Page. But in the end, you know, Sammy Guevara gets the win. He gets post attacked by Ethan Page and all of that stuff. We get to see Tony Nese in the crowd, Paul. You know, like he actually has an AEW contract right now. Of course, pretty funny that like he already has a contract. You know, don't be surprised if they do another thing with Fuego del Sol. He's already under contract. So post attack, he's like, so what do I came here this for? And then you get to see Jericho and all the Inner Circle came out and they are challenging for a match at Full Gear, and it's going to be all the members of the Inner Circle going against America's First Team. Is that what that's how it's called, right?
Team. America's Top Team.
America's Top Team. There you go, America's Top Team. I don't want to see this. It's not good. It's like, again, you know, you can't be using the Inner Circle in feuds like this anymore. You need to split them up. They need to be separated. They need to go like somewhere. For example, it would be good to see Jake Hager against CM Punk or something like that. You know, different feuds for other people, because just I don't like it. I don't understand the purpose of it. Go ahead.
This is how I would have booked this. Well, first of all, the match, Sammy Guevara, hell of an athlete. I agree with Jim Ross. At some point, he needs to stop relying on his daredevil acrobatics, because you know, it's going to get himself hurt, and, you know, it's just, you know, not going to work at some point. And I agree with that. And also, just from a fan standpoint, I see him do these Spanish flies, these like springboard cutters, all this craziness. But when I see it all the time, none of it sticks. I'm like, oh, okay.
It becomes part of like the what is it, like the moveset, and I don't want to see it.
Yeah, he does these crazy athletic feats, but he does them all the time, and you know they don't interest me anymore because I see them. You know, it interests me more to see matches like FTR, but you know, this, I mean, how about the botch finish when he hit the moonsault and completely hit fucking nothing? Like, you know, just completely flat, and then he just crawled over and, you know, just did like a roll up or a small package on Ethan Page, 1, 2, 3. And then, you know, you pretty much explained what happened. I don't need to go into it. The only thing I'll say is I would have did this completely different. Ethan Page would have won this thing. Sammy Guevara out of the Inner Circle. So the Inner Circle is at a disadvantage at full. The match is still taking place at Full Gear, let's say, but they're at a disadvantage. They're a man down, 5 against 4. Well, not really, because leading up, you know, in a week or two, Miro says, "I want my fucking title opportunity." Ethan Page, and he rips him in half, and Miro's back, and then the title is back on the guy who never should have lost it in the first place. And then, okay, Ethan Page is taken out. You know, he's taken to a hospital because Miro killed this guy. Now it's even again, 4-on-4, and the match can be legit.
No, that would be cool.
I almost called him Sami Zayn. Sammy Guevara needs to be out of the Inner Circle just so the guy can get over on his own. Because
we've been saying that forever.
He gets over and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm legit." Then Jericho comes out, gets a bigger pop, and he's like, "So."
It is true, man. You know, because of Judas, everybody wants to sing that. Every damn city that they go, that they do the same thing. So, like you said, he can get himself over just so good. Jericho comes, so he's like, "Okay, kid, go down. No, you're not supposed to be over me." So that's what we have. This match is not going to be something that we're really looking for.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it.
So split him up. You know, I don't want to see Tito Ortiz. I don't want to see any of them. You know, it's just don't mix. You know, don't mix the UFC mixed martial arts with these guys. It does not make sense because you're like pretending that they're better than the other guys, and you know deep down that they can actually kick their asses in like this.
Oh yeah.
So that's the only thing. Let's go to like Brian Danielson rather, and Eddie Kingston, and really good promo by both of them, but friends. You know, look like the Daniel Bryan, hands in his pockets, like, so I don't want to be here. He's like, "Are you excited, man?" You know, it's just like white t-shirts, it's all good.
Yeah, and
then he just says,
Kingston, it was going off, and he's like, you know, "Oh, you know, you don't say I work hard. You know, I get up every day. You know, I deal with depression.
Take pills for like pain, you know, depression, all of that."
And then turns to anger, and you don't like, you know. But then when I'm angry, I can't control what I do. You know, out there in that ring, you know, all this stuff. And you know, Kingston's such a great promo. He's fired up, and he's like, "You know what? That's all I have to say. You know, and I don't want to listen either." So he's like, "Excuse my back." And he just walks away, and it's, you know, Bryan Danielson's like, "That's the Eddie Kingston I want to face." And he pretty much says, you know, I deal with that same shit too. So does everybody in the locker room, you know, but we're not out here crying about it. You're not any special than we are. And all of a sudden you're like, you know, Brian Danielson's taking some shots here, but this is a good. And I mean, the only thing is, it's the same thing like what we're going to see Jon Moxley and his match and who he faces next week. We already know who the finals. You know, Eddie Kingston, you know, you're legit, you're badass. And even if we didn't see, you know, the leaked Full Gear card, we would still think, you know, hey, Eddie Kingston, you know, thank you, but Bryan Danielson's winning this.
That's the problem, you know, is when you got a guy that is so much over than the other one. I mean, it will be easy if you could do the swerve, but at the expense of like the bigger name that like everybody. So why did he lose just to put Eddie Kingston over? It's not gonna happen. Jon Moxley didn't do it. Neither is gonna do Daniel or Bryan Danielson. So like you said, good promo, but that's what we got. You know, there you go. We're gonna go to the Lucha Bros. They're finally back, and then just kind of a promo on FTR. Really cool stuff. I mean, is it funny that like Alex that has more like intensity than the Lucha Bros though? For me, he gets the microphone. Oh my God, I'm one like Penta says, and I said like, oh, is this so good? But in the end, we're gonna see this match at Full Gear. Hopefully, they don't lose the titles, because if they do, for me, it's like that's one of the worst runs as, you know, tag team champions for the Lucha Bros. They deserve a little better, a more lengthy run for me.
Yeah, you know what? I really their title reign, it could have been better if you would have had. So like this tag division, you took one of the hottest teams, the Jurassic Express. They're not in the tag division no more. You know, so it's, you know, they're one of the teams you could have feuded with these guys. And it sucks because I really do think they're going to drop the belts to FTR, because the outcry has been FTR has been misused. You know, you gave them the belts. They had a mini title run, and then it went on the Bucks, and you did nothing with FTR since. They've been losers. They've just been, you know, haven't done anything legit. We finally see that now. So that's why I think, okay, you know, they're going to put the belts.
It is the time.
It sucks for the Lucha Bros because, like you said, they never had that legit moment. Unless this feud is drawn out. Maybe they win at Full Gear and they draw it out, and you know,
all the way to Revolution. Maybe they drop it. That would be a good idea, like you said. We'll see what happens. We got to hear from FTR in just a little bit also. So, but before we go to do that, great women's match: Hikaru Shida, Serena Deeb. This is like for like the first round of the new announced TBS Championship. I mean, you know, we know like the Hikaru Shida was one win away from like the 50th, so she could hit that milestone, and it was a pretty good match. And I like the fact that like both of the girls have characters now. And also, like, Hikaru is really good, babyface, you know this. She was champion, but Serena Deeb is showing more layers of her. You know, because we know she's a great wrestler. I mean, we've seen her work right now, and it's absolutely amazing. So I like this, and like you said, I would much rather, for the story purposes, to see Serena Deeb go over. But you knew that they're not gonna job like Hikaru Shida twice. In the end, you know, like she ended up rolling her out. Like you see the pinning combination right there, 1, 2, 3. Hikaru Shida get the 50th win, but in the end, Serena Deeb starts attacking her with like the chair. Then she does the Serena lock. Really, really cool stuff. So the feud, maybe Hikaru Shida is eliminated for the tournament, and Serena Deeb probably will go over, something like that. But it's good because they're giving you reasons to keep seeing the feud. I like this.
Yeah, and you know, with the brutal attack afterwards, and the only thing they really comment on the match, I mean, I thought it was, the only spot I don't like is, unless it's some kind of no DQ or something, Shida shouldn't get out the chair every match. Like, just run off the apron and just dive to your opponent on the outside and hit him with your knee. Just because, yes, like Jim Ross said, he's like, as soon as she gets out the chair, the ref could be like, no, you're disqualified.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, but they don't for storyline because it's all bullshit. But, you know, realistically, if you follow the rules, you know, the ref should be able to. But, you know, the match was good. I like at the end, you know, just like you said, it was the roll-up, Serena Deeb had her, but then Shida countered. It was the nice kind of like Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, you know.
With the British Bulldog.
Yeah, those great wrestlers where you see the roll-ups back and forth and everything.
And wearing the same short, they're the same pants if you think about it.
Yeah,
all like
and they even said, you know, because she did the sharpshooter, and they said, you know, wearing the Bret Hart colors. And, you know, but Shida getting the win. She needed to get her 50th win against Serena, so I figured it was going to happen here. There's no way you could really stretch this, especially with Serena winning. What's she going to do? Just not wrestle until she can face Serena again? But no, I like the beatdown afterwards, because you said maybe now Nyla. I think they won't obviously reward Serena Deeb and put her back in. So if anything, Nyla Rose would just get the bye.
Yeah, and then we're going to see probably Ruby Soho here in this part of the bracket.
That could tell a Bret Hart to go back to my boy a Bret Hart Bam Bam Bigelow story where Bam Bam got the bye and then Bret Hart went against him and it's like still lost and everything.
Exactly, it could be like that. Yeah. We could see the bracket maybe like you said, it's either Jerry Cargill, this Thunder Rosa, or Ruby Soho. Like I said, the final should have been like that, something like really cool and intense. We'll see what happens. I don't think like say Hikaru Shida deserves that title because she was already women's champion. Doesn't need it at all. So let's go to what we get to see here, Dante Martin going in with the man of the hour. We get to see him right there, Leo Rush, and he just says that they're gonna have a feud with Mike Seidel. It's fine. I mean, this is stuff that probably mid-card stuff. I'm not interested. Leo Rush as a manager, he was not that good with Bobby Lashley. I mean, I didn't care for it. I don't know why they're trying to go back to that, but it is So sometimes AEW can be good, sometimes not good.
Yeah, I mean, I have to disagree with you there. I think he's a great promo. I mean, because he can talk. I think he's good. He can get under your skin. You want to see him get beat up. Even look at Dante Martin. You kind of just felt bad for him. It's for having.
Can I say something? Time. That's his face.
Yeah, and it's but I think this is his best role because you see him standing there next to Tony Schiavone. He's shorter than Schiavone. So how can I believe this guy in the ring? It's Marco's stunt. So I think his best role is as a manager. But, we got to see. This is, again, another thing where he's talented on the, he's good promo, but I don't care about this at all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Exactly. So, like you said, he could be good, but nobody cares about him.
Yeah, and Dante Martin is a great wrestler, too, but,
he's good.
Is this just leading to a feud between the two? I don't know.
Like you said, the storyline, maybe if they put something else for Dante Martin, you give him something else to do, it will be a little better. Let's go to now to the semifinals of the tournament, or no, the quarterfinals of the tournament for #1 contender for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Number 10 against Jon Moxley. It was just so quick. And I don't know if John is pissed off at the booking. I don't know if he's pissed off at something, but you could see he bust him open, and then the paradigm shift, and that was it. He pretty much ripped the mask. I don't know what's going on, and he just left the ring. So I don't know if it's this part of the storyline.
I mean, if you remember, he cut that promo where he's like, you know what, I don't even want to be here. He's like, everything that happened, it's the only thing I really care about is my wife, my daughter. I don't care about wrestling, but wrestling helps me provide for them, and so does being the heavyweight champion. So I'm going to win this whole tournament. Screw this shit. Like you said, he had this. Obviously, I would assume it's a gimmick. I mean, unless he is going to leave soon, and maybe he's just going to be like GCW and Garbage Championship Wrestling. I don't really know, but I mean, we got to really see what this is. I mean, he just beat the hell out of this guy, but we already know it's going to be him and Bryan Danielson in the finals. And I mean, I like this, attitude he had. Hopefully he does the same thing to Orange Cassidy. Then I'd actually be a Moxley fan. But
then he promised to get the shirt if that's happened.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I already got 2 from Pro Wrestling Crates. You'll actually see me wear them then. But
exactly. He's not gonna have them just as
This was what it was. I'm glad it was quick. But I mean, they hyped this guy up. 10. He's legit. He's 11-0 in his last 11 matches, and then gets his fucking ass.
Because he's been fighting the members of the Dark Order, probably, and that's how he gets all those wins. But like you said, it was quick. And then one more time, we're gonna give you the pictures for you guys. There you go. Orange Cassidy, Jon Moxley. That's gonna be also next Dynamite. So this is probably gonna be one of the main events. Like you said, if Moxley goes over quick, I mean, at the expense of Cassidy is fine. Cassidy is more character. He's a average wrestler. He knows how to do a few sequences, but Moxley is the main man out of the two. So let's go to FTR, another the AAA heavyweight tag team champions, according to the promo against the Lucha Bros. This is good, but like I said, everything's pointed out at what you just mentioned. They're gonna win those titles, and it's gonna piss me off. Not because FTR is bad, but the Lucha Bros deserves more. Have them have a lengthy run. I mean, I care for FTR, but I need the Lucha Bros now. They had the titles. No, give the Lucha Bros something. These guys have gold too. It's fine. Can they share? I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I would do something where you put both titles on the line, or maybe they win it and then the Lucha Bros challenge them for the AAA titles. But I mean, winning them would only feel special to people who actually like AAA. And I'm not saying it's bad, but we can't watch it over here. So how do we have any type of these belts mean something? They don't to us. And that's again not putting them down, but it is what it is. So, I mean, I love the promo here. I think they're going to win unless they somehow find a way, like I said, to prolong this. But, you know, these guys are great. And, you know, the match they had with them, you know, when they were the Frogmen or whatever they were before, you know, they had a really good match with the Lucha Bros. I think at the pay-per-view, it'll be even better.
There is going to be one of the main events. It's going to be one of the greatest matches. Don't forget, family, we're on Twitter also, like on YouTube, the original Raw Break. Don't forget. So let's talk about Cody Rhodes, because everybody loves Cody. No, everybody absolutely hates Cody.
Let me say this real quick. As soon as his I mean, these people pop for everything. As soon as his music hit, boo.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved every second.
Yeah, it's because they know.
It in, man.
Because he didn't have to do this. He did not have to win over Malachi Black. A lot of people, you know, and thank you everybody that is commenting, you know, Facebook and the social media, because they told me. They said, Juanzo, he did not need that win, and he does not. But like, of course, he has to go over. Like, he cannot give Malachi Black like another match. And I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, he was just thanking everybody for like all of it. Oh, I have a hot wife that I don't deserve. I have a daughter that I don't deserve. I have a dad that I don't deserve. I have a brother that. So can you deserve something? So you thanking Arn Anderson is all good. You know, you get to see, hey, thanks for waking me up. That's kind of like the narrative that I'm understanding. But El Idolo showed up, and I finally decent English, so I'm gonna give props to that. He said, "You look stupid because you have that tattoo," things like that. It was cool. And Andrade, you see like a mini, like you see the start of a feud here. Lights go off. Malachi Black shows up, so you see the association between Malachi and Andrade. And like you said, maybe it's because of Selena, and they still talk or something. But in the end, you know, they were attacking Cody really bad. But Pac shows up, so the feud with Andrade and Pac continues. I don't want to see this anymore. It's over. Pac needs to go to somewhere else, and so does the Idolo. And I think at least he's gonna go. But like, what do you do with Pac, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing again. You have, I mean, Cody. I wish he would have done the thing where she said he's never going to do, and he said, "Oh, he's like, you know, all you guys want me to turn, and I won't because I love you." And it's like, you know, he's again, Cody exposes the wrestling business with his bullshit reality TV show, and every time he opens his mouth, but it's like, you really need to say like, "Oh, I'm gonna turn heel on television and make it that obvious," but. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I love when he said, I had him hooked. He's like, oh, I was going to hit a different move. I mean, you know, like his idol who he has a picture of, you know, Paul Levesque, Triple H, you know. But I mean, the promo by Cody was too long. You know, it was good though. It was decent, but like way too long. Malachi Black coming out, you know, after Andrade. You know, this is obviously everything continued from the match they had when Andrade came out and interfered during that match. That's why his associate has the neck brace. Arn Anderson hit him with spine buster. But, you know, Pac coming out, all these guys, I don't want to see a tag match between them.
No.
Malachi Black should have beat Cody, moved on to somebody else. I would have loved
should be CM Punk now.
I mean, you should have done better timing when it could have been, then you could have did Malachi Black versus Darby Allin.
Yeah,
it's like his feud with MJF should have finished as soon as Malachi Black's feud with Cody finished. And that would have been the next thing because they're both the creepy guys. He could have went after Sting and Darby. You know, Pac, he should have moved on to something else. Cody and Andrade, I'm fine with that feud.
Yeah.
Two of them, I'm okay because, like I said, both people kind of boo and aren't into really any of these guys. So they're going to have to choose somebody here. So, and I think it would be Andrade because, you know, they got a good pop for that neck tattoo line.
Oh yeah, and you know, he delivered that line really well, so like, we're going to be seeing that next Wednesday on Dynamite, so hopefully he wins. El Idolo needs to go over. Hopefully Cody like listens here. You already got the win to you know, on Saturday. Can you let him win? You're like, you beat Penta. You buried Penta. Remember when they had that mini feud 2 weeks down?
Penta's like, I'll break your arm so you can't hold your daughter, and then he just kills him.
And done, you know. So like, Penta, don't say anything about daughters, Andrade, and you will be fine. So we're going to see you on Dynamite next week. We're going to see you on Rampage also. Like, remember Paul said, the greatest promo in pro wrestling, Leo Rush, and against Matt Sydal with Anthony Martin. We're going to see also this. This is just for Halloween because Abaddon, we haven't seen the girl in forever. And I mean, we get to see her in Dark. Nobody watches Dark. There you go. She's going to go against Britt Baker. And a World Heavyweight Championship match. There you go. All of it now because the show is sinking.
Well, no. It just says World Heavyweight Champion Britt Baker.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
If she beats Britt Baker, she gets a title opportunity. But I don't know.
No, it's not going to. But again, you see the trick or treat matches because, again, Abaddon personifies what Halloween is about. That's why they're doing that. We're going to see also like next week on Dynamite another round of like the tournament for the TBS Championship and the Jay Goins against Jamie Hayter. I would love Hayter to just go over just because like the girl doesn't even do DMD. So like it does the one thing that makes me laugh from the girl, but like she's a really good wrestler.
And I think she will. I think she'll go over.
Because Anna Jay is good, but like the Dark Order Association to me kills the whole character. So we'll see what happens, Paul. But now let's go to the main event. Like you said, up to here, pretty solid. You know, it's not great, it's not awful, but at least it's solid. It's, you know, good storytelling. Full Gear seems to be like a good pay-per-view. We don't know what CM Punk is going to be doing yet. We still have some members like they can actually have feuds with. Maybe Jungle Boy against CM Punk. CM Punk's been saying, I want to fight Jungle Boy for the longest time. We'll see. So, of course, Halloween is in a couple of days, so they had to give us like a gimmicky match based on Halloween. There you go, you get to see the ghosts or everything, because TNT has association what is the Ghostbusters. There's going to be a new movie, you know, like a reincarnation of what happened, and the Super Elite is the Ghostbusters. I'm done. When I see that, you know, I'm done. And I know, Paul, you're a great toy collector, so tell me a little bit about this. Were you pissed when you see Adam Cole?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is, well, when they did this when they first started, and you know,
Space Jam, remember, not too long ago.
And Jericho was the champion, and they came out, you know, they were dressed as Street Fighter characters. I'm like, you know what? Well, Adam Cole wasn't here, but I'm like, you know what? They're not the champions. They're just, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. But, you know, these guys, now it's the Super Elite. You bring Adam Cole, he might be having way more, he might be having 100 times more fun and loving life so much more here in AEW than NXT. But his legitimacy, it fell so hard and so far off the chart, you can't even fucking find it no more. I mean, the guy is done. I mean, this was a garbage match. They're not using like the toys.
Are they making out in this picture?
But I mean, yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, they were, you know, everybody was in the ring. It was the bullshit referee. Nothing was stopped. It was chaos. It was garbage. To be honest, I really didn't even watch it. I mean, I was watching it, but nothing registered, nothing stuck. I couldn't tell you a spot that happened in it. I mean, I know when they did the Ninja Turtle thing at the end, and they hit him with Colt Cabana with the proton pack and then power bombed him. I mean, I saw the finish, but that wasn't the finish, because you know the referee was done because he got super kicked. So you know, and he's pretty much a zombie, like he's 1,000 years old, so he sold it forever. And then you know, Hangman came out, and he was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, which was Brandon Cutler at first, but now it's Hangman. They switched him. Brandon Cutler was in the horse thing with his mouth duct taped. Oh shit, it's Brandon Cutler. Hangman takes them all out dressed as a Stay Puft. You know, they celebrate. Then eventually John Silver, you know, he hit his finish on, I think, Matt Jackson.
Yeah.
And 1, 2, 3. You know, the Dark Order wins. I don't care. I mean, to me, it's like, you know, you had to, Hangman cut a legit feud, and you go, okay, you know, after that promo, I want to see them put the belt on him, and then they do something like this, and it's like, forget it.
And it wasn't that good. You know, when they do this gimmicky stuff, it takes away from the show. Yeah, because it kind of like, you gotta like channel yourself, your like inner 6-year-old to enjoy this. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Especially
and this time it didn't.
World champion and your #1 contender.
Yes, exactly. Like, it's like you need more seriousness, especially because of the title.
Ric Flair on Halloween dressing up as like fucking Batman or somebody.
Yeah, no, it would have never happened, exactly. So, like, this is the last picture that we have for you guys. That's how the show ended. And, you know, Dynamite, like I said, probably 1 to 10, probably like a 6.5, around that. But even maybe 7.5, but like the championship, I mean, like the main event was not good enough. So, you know, family, thank you so very much. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and also follow us on the rest of the social media waves. We have everything. Paul's going to tell you right now. So, what are
And then, guys, you know, make sure you follow us on Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and, of course, right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
So, you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...